So I would like to go through the challenges quickly as right owners as well as a business. So actually, this presentation, when we're talking about challenges, we don't mean to aim at any government bodies, but as some of the enforcing authority has mentioned, I think there are certain challenges faced by businesses and also authorities and government bodies. So we just want to raise the challenges that we are facing to make sure that we understand of each other difficulties and have further improvement in the future. So the difficulties and challenges that we have faced is actually businesses they sometimes they mostly they chose to be protected in terms of administrative. And for me personally, I have worked with different enforcing authority, for example the DMS or the patent 9, to participate in workshops and webinar to support the enforcing body as well as the consumer to be able to differentiate between counterfeit goods and real goods, and then or IP infringing goods. However, this activity, according to us, is actually still not enough, and we still are facing challenges, especially in enforcing our right. So we do understand that the enforcing resources is still limited. So in order to have regular inspections of the market is also a big challenge for authority. So sometimes authority will focus on a big cases and has direct or major consequences on the consumer. But however, I do think we should expand the resources of enforcing bodies to make sure that we can expand our support to SME in fighting or combating against IP infringement goods. As mentioned in the morning, sometimes government bodies we are not flexible enough. When the right owners they have certain requests for handling violations, we do understand and agree with our speaker today that the right owner they need to have documentation proving their right. However, we are talking about much more simpler case. For example, infringements of trademark in very small shops, for example, Vespa or Honda that we are having. And for example, a repairing shop, a normal one, not belonging to our big Asian systems, then it's very difficult for them to follow this. And when we send the request, there are certain requests from the authority in terms of documentation, which we think are quite complicated. And with the same request, but when we're working with the advertising authority, it's actually much more simpler. But for the infringements they have many complicated questions and requests. So we think that if it's the same case, but with the IP, it's not that they don't handle it, but the procedures and the timeline is actually quite long. So I do hope that it can be simplified to support the businesses. And here it is in some simple cases. I'm not talking about suspensions of custom clearance as you just mentioned. It is in that case quite complicated. And the next things is for the sanctions or the file. Sometimes we think that it's not serious enough to stop or prevent the repeat of infringement. So those are some challenges that we are facing in enforcing our IP right in terms of administrative form. And in order to go into more details in the IP evaluations, so these are the challenges. As you already know, when proving the IP infringements related to industrial design and the trademark, the right owner need to provide evidence, show the similarity between the original and the copy. I think in the law, there's no regulation that you need to have an opinion from another individuals or organizations for those assessments. And in reality, this process, I think sometimes it cannot ensure that the violation will be handled effectively, because in order to get an opinion on assessment, it takes quite a lot of time. And the second thing is, in reality, some of the assessment opinions, they might be conflict with each other. So for example, I said that this motorbike from the IP office, they are saying that there's a similarity between this one and the other one, and then I bring the case to the enforcement authority or the VIPRI. They are saying that no, it's actually not similar. So these are the conflict between the opinions of assessment. So we are actually, for the enforcing body, they are not sure whether which opinion they should listen to. So we're actually raising this point through a proposal regarding the white book from the EU. And we also receive opinion from the IP office, but they also mentioned that these two options is only for references, and the government body will have the authority to make the final decision. And in IPVN office, actually they recommend that we should bring it to the court. But for us, we always want to have the shortest way possible to handle the case as quick as we can. And actually, even if we bring it to the competent court, it is not guaranteed that we can resolve the case. As you know, in the court, at the moment, I have to say that the limitation in terms of knowledge of IPR is still limited. So for, let's say we have two opinions after assessments, it is still unsure whether which one will be prevailed. It's actually lucky that the Department of Science and Technology has published a list of judicial assessor, in which there are two gentlemen who are specialized in industrial design. However, I'm not quite sure whether this decision is widely public. And when the court asked for opinions of independent judicial expert, sometimes it can take more than half a year to have an opinion from them. So for the assessor himself, the process for him to have the opinion and then to discuss with other parties is also takes a lot of time. So based on those challenges, we have proposed some solutions or recommendations which everyone can discuss and talk together. So hopefully we can have a much more clearer mechanism to bring more benefit to the right owner. So if the assessment result, if they have certain ambiguity, certain uncertainty, and in that case, if we run to another organization or independent assessor to ask for another opinion, it's even much more complicated. So assessor or evaluator, sometimes they will have conflict of opinions. So because assessor or evaluator, they will have different perspective. I think regardless of that, if we are still based on the current IP law, as I know the industrial design in Decree 65 and Clause 6, I think there are grounds to differentiate between the two products, whether it can be distinguishable or not. However, in actual applications, it's not the same. So there will be inconsistent opinions from the evaluators. So we do hope that the government can create convenient conditions for independent IB judicial experts to issue their evaluations, and from the court, as Mr. Hong mentioned in the morning, which is a very good news, that we might be able to establish a specialized IP court. If that happens, it's gonna be a great benefit for all of us. However, up until then, I think we still need to enhance the knowledge and experience of trustees in the IP sectors. And I think that should be taken into consideration. And relevance department also say that opinion from evaluator are still references only. So enforcing authority and body in taking their responsibility, they still need to have enough knowledge and experience to be able to make the decision without consulting further opinions. And also, we do hope to strengthen the voice of IP Vietnam's opinions on whether it is infringements of IP or not, because in reality, sometimes there are opinion for IP from VIPRI, and sometimes there's other opinion from the IP Office Vietnam. But for the court, they are not paying much attention to the opinion of the IP Vietnam, but they're paying much more priority on the opinions of the VIPRI. So the IP Vietnam should be the voice being priority. And the second challenge is in regard to industrial designs. As all of you already know, currently, in order to say that this one product is similar to my product, which is already protected in terms of industrial design, it's very quite difficult to say so, because for the people, for infringers, they are actually becoming much more intelligent and clever in what they are doing. And those counterfeit goods, if based on the regulations only, and if based on the regulation, we can differentiate them. But in actual situation, it impact directly the consumers, and not all of the consumers can have the right knowledge and technical level or technical skills to differentiate between these products. For example, for our Vespa product, in the north regions or provinces of our market, our Vespa products, we have a lot of counterfeit products, and the consumer cannot be able to differentiate between these products. And in certain provinces, these counterfeit products is actually the number of those are increasing in the past few years. And actually, we are facing a lot of challenges in resolving these cases. And it actually impact our businesses and our productions, and it's also causing the right owner to feel that the IP protection is no longer meaningful. And for EV manufacturer who are producing counterfeit goods. They also have the evidence to prove that the VIPRI are saying that this product is not similar to the original product. But when they're selling the products on the website, but they will say Vesper A or Vesper B. In one side, we're saying that this is not a copy of Vesper A, but on the other side, you are using the Vesper A or Vesper B to put it on your website, and this will confuse the consumer. And I can say that this is a bad faith, and it should be a ground to identify whether there is infringement of IP or not. In addition to technical assessment, we also need to take into consideration the perspective from consumer. And I've known that in many other developed countries, there, in order to prove in order to prove the similarity between the counterfeit goods and original product, they have certain technical measure. But at the moment in Vietnam, we do not have that yet. So these are some recommendations that we would like to bring to everyone. And so those are basically what we want to share today, and we do hope to receive more feedback and opinions or any discussion from the audience in order to improve this in the near future. Thank you very much.